I'm Ron Holter. I'm the fifth generation farmer on Holterholm Farms. We are a seasonal, organic, pasture-based dairy. We have 207 acres and are milking 100 cows right now. My great-great-grandfather was a farm worker for several farms and had moved around, and he had worked for the owner of this farm. And then in 1889, the owner of this farm was one of these large landowners, which we're starting to see again. I think everything cycles and it will get back. But the large landowner went bankrupt. And of course, at that time, they did not farm the land carefully. With horses, it's easier to plow up and down a hill. And of course, we lost a lot of topsoil and really depleted the soils. And so that's what I believe drove him into bankruptcy. So my great-grandfather got a chance to buy it. He bought it, and it was a general farm at that time. They did nurture it, bring it back to health, and my grandfather graduated from the University of Maryland in 1921, I believe, and he came back and he was really a steward of the land, and he had the Civil Conservation Corps come in the 30s and lay off all the contour strips and the grass waterways, and started with the rotational cropping systems. A 5-year rotation usually is what they did at that time, and still a general farm, had cattle or milk cows and pigs and horses, of course, and chickens, and they sold some clover seed and sold some corn seed, just very diversified in all that they did. They didn't carry all their eggs in one basket, and so they were a successful farm at that time. And it was the teachings after World War II in the 40s and 50s that taught farmers to streamline to one and only do one thing. And so my uncle and father and grandfather were in partnership in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And in the 60s, they streamlined into a dairy, sold all the chickens and the pigs, and of course the horses had already left because of tractor power. But they built a new milking parlor and confinement facilities basically for the cows, and increased herd numbers up to about 100. And then in 1994, my wife and I purchased the partnership from my parents. And I took a management class that taught us basically to think outside the box, and at that class rotational grazing was mentioned. So we came home and prayed about it, and the Lord showed us that we were supposed to graze our cattle. And so we seeded the entire farm into pasture mixes in 1995, and had every animal in the farm out grazing in 1996, and loved it. It's just keep learning new stuff all the time. But in 1998, we went spring seasonal, so we only calve cows in March and April, and we dry the cows off right before Christmas, which is the best Christmas present that I could give my family or myself, is to not have to go out and milk on Christmas Day. We have realized in 2000 that we did not need herbicides and pesticides and chemical fertilizers and antibiotics, basically, to run the farm. That the cows were healthy, the land was healthy, and so we decided at that time to farm organically. Now, we did not have an organic milk market in Maryland at that time, so we farmed the land organically, but still fed conventional grain to the cows until 2005, when organic milk demand really picked up, and they decided to come into Maryland and start collecting organic milk. So we joined Organic Valley Cooperative. We've been blessed to be part of them, and we have been certified organic since July 1st, 2005. We've just found that farming the way God intended has been a blessing to us because the land is healthy, the plants are healthy, the cows are healthy, and the humans consuming that food are healthy. And God laid it all out in the Bible, and we just have to have the wisdom to go back and learn how to use what He laid out, and use it properly, and it does work. And it is much more profitable this way as well than in confinement, with a lot less labor and a lot less stress. We have a clay loam soil base here, which is one of the richest types of soils in the state. We're in the western half of Frederick County, which is kind of the foothills of the Appalachians, just getting started. And it's very rolling, very well drained and deep topsoil here, and so it's prime agriculture land. Holter Road is about 7 miles long from Jefferson to Middletown, and when I was growing up, we had 8 dairy farms on Holter Road alone, and now there are only 3 left. And of those, well, at either end of Holter Road was beautiful farmland, and now we have a golf course and development at one end, and the other end we just have a huge development. And as well as scattered through on Holter Road, a lot of parcels were sold, not in full developments, but 1 or 2 acre lots were sold off in little patches like that. So the farmland has been reduced by 25% at least on Holter Road from just the time that I've been growing up. I haven't known them personally, but I have known, yes, farmers to sell into developers and such. Right at the moment, of course, it's slowed down because the economy in Frederick County has tried to put the brakes on a little bit. But it is, yes, over my lifetime, I've definitely seen a wholesale sellout. And quite honestly, that's what a lot of farmers are holding on to now. They're just farming. I know farmers that are in their 70s that are still farming just because, this is my retirement, and boy, as soon as I can get this thing developed, I'm going to sell it to a developer. And it's sad because it's excellent farmland that they don't care about, and they don't have any offspring that want to take it, and young people can't come in and buy it for the prices they want to sell it for. So it's a tough situation.